You're listening to the Leadership Blend Podcast
I'm ready.
on the Thinking Out Loud Network. Check out the Thinking Out Loud Network at thinkingoutloudnetwork.com.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice, and I am flying solo today. Simone is on assignment, and Derek is Derek. Everybody knows how Derek is, but it's okay because we have an in-house guest. He's no stranger to the show, and he's no stranger to radio as of lately, so I'm going to let him introduce himself again, and we're going to go from there. So tell him who you are.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Kevin James in the building, Morris Brown College Interim President.
All right, so earlier this year, we had Dr. James on through one of my best friends, Tanya Gordon. She recommended, and he came on and blazed the show because he's just a trailblazer. And when he came here, I think that was in May. I think it was May 29th. He came here, and he was discussing that he had become the interim president of Morris Brown College here in ATL and what his plans were. Now, I'm not going to lie. When you told me your plans, as somebody who's been in higher education, I was like, those are a little lofty. Yeah. But, you know, with the right level of tenacity, you could get some things done.
Absolutely.
And you did strike me as that type. So I was like, okay, we're going to see what happens. And I have to say, it takes a lot to wow me. And I have been absolutely blown away at the progress you've made in, 6 months, maybe?
Well,
6
9 months or so, 9 or 10 months.
Yeah, like 6 to 10 months.
The
progress you've made as an interim president has been astounding.
Thank you, sir.
So, yeah. I don't even know where to start on that. Let's just start from, so you took over in about
March 1.
Okay, so you took over in March 1. What were your objectives going into it?
Yes, my objectives are threefold. Number one, to become accredited. The first historically black college was founded in 1831. Since that time, we've had 125 HBCUs. Today, we have 105. When you lose your accreditation, you close. That's it. So what we're doing here has never been done before. It's never been done. So, like you said, lofty goal, but Morris Brown College history sells itself. We just have to show the people the why we're so relevant and important. So accreditation is the first goal. Of course, governance, making sure that the institution is run properly. Of course, that goes along with safety for students, having a good, safe environment. And then the third one is raising the dollars needed. HBCUs don't close because of academics. They close because of finances. So we have to make sure that we can prove to the Transnational Association of Christian Colleges and Schools that we are fiscally stable and capable of this never happening again, and we're able to move the institution forward. So governance, accreditation, and fundraising.
So when you took over, because I'm not from Atlanta, but I've been here 9 years. I had never really heard of Morris Brown, vaguely from the past.
Sure.
But you guys were out without accreditation for almost 20 years, correct?
Yeah, 2002. And we lost our accreditation. It wasn't because of academics. It was because of some financial mismanagement with financial aid. And people ask me all the time, well, why do you talk about that? Because I want to be the most transparent president. Listen, it's no secret of our history. We filed bankruptcy. We've had fires. We've had floods. We've had mismanagement. We've had different things. But John Maxwell said this, and I quote, "Everything rises and falls on leadership." And so as the new leader, I wanted to make sure that the governance piece was tight and that we had a good representation of leadership pushing the college forward. And so now that we're getting some momentum, we're doing pretty well with all of our other objectives.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest, 'cause this is your second time, so we can have another conversation.
Hey, we can talk straight.
Let's be honest. This seems to be an issue at HBCUs.
Yes.
Like this. Why do you think that is? Like in my head, I think of the administration is reflective of their students.
Yes.
So you would think that older African Americans who are more seasoned and more mature would be in charge of those aspects. So in essence, aren't they stealing from our kids when they do those kind of things? Why do you think this is happening?
Well, it's not widespread as you may think it is. But I think that in higher education, specifically at HBCUs, we have a trend right now of seeing a different type of leader. People who are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s may not correlate with students the same way that I will. People ask me all the time, why in the world are you on social media all day, every day?
Okay, let's pause there.
Okay, right.
Because for those that do not know, this man, I thought I was a social media person. I am 40, despite what I'm 40.
Right.
But you keep it going. Like I have been amazed.
I want to control the narrative. I want to control the narrative, and I want to get the alumni to trust what I'm saying, because I don't want to just say it. I want to show it. So, for example, when I leave here, I'll post, "Oh, just finished another show. It was a great show. We had a great conversation." What? Promoting Morris Brown, raising money, right? I want the alumni, faculty, friends, everyone else to know that, right? So we're using social media. Now, it's some folks who are doing a good job of that. But the premise of where I was going with that point is the fact that you have to be able to relate to this millennial student. They are a different student.
They are a different breed.
A different breed, whatever word you want to use. They are different. They want things microwave immediately. Okay, I want to know what's going on. What's going on with classes? What's going on with Christmas break? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, that's just the kind of premise regarding that. So you have different types of people leading institutions. Now, don't get me wrong. It's so much knowledge out there. I got mentors. I got people who I call for advice. I don't know everything. I'm still learning, but at the same time, I'm just doing it with a KJ spin on it.
A KJ Smith. Okay, all right. Tell everybody about your past, because you've been in higher education for a minute. So tell everybody where you came from.
Sure. Well, I finished my degree in 2001. A degree was in speech pathology. I decided I didn't want to go in that direction, so I got my master's degree in business management and leadership, specifically with a concentration in organization effectiveness. I wanted to learn how operations, finances, HR, everything, how organizations run, right? And then my doctorate's in higher education leadership. My goal has always been, since about 01, 02, to be a historically black college president. And so that's kind of where I started my career, working in education, started teaching. And then I got into leadership, director of student services, moved up to a college dean. I was a college dean for about 10 years.
At what school?
Different schools. I was at Claflin University. I was at Strayer University. I was at ITT Technical Institute, primarily working with working adults. I like the working adult student as well as that student, that millennial student that has a different spin on education. And then I've been very involved with the 100 Black Men of America / Atlanta, and so I became the interim CEO of the 100 Black Men. Did that for a little while, and then now I'm here at Morris Brown.
Okay, I'm going to segue, because now that you brought that up, I have been curious. Sure. Can you tell me about that, the 100 Black Men program?
Sure.
Because I have been curious. I see it from time to time, but I've never really delved into it. But since you're here.
Sure, no problem.
Since you're here.
Sure. The 100 Black Men was founded in 1963 in New York City. It is an organization that is primarily around mentoring the youth. Our motto is, what they see is what they'll be. So if they see strong, professional black men as executives, then that's what they'll be. That's our philosophy. And so we just put strong black men in front of the youth, both male and female, to mentor them throughout high school, send them on to college. My chapter, the 100 Black Men of Atlanta, we have our own school we work with, Best Academy, which is an all-male school in Atlanta public schools, and we mentor those kids over there, and then we send them to college, and we pay for it.
Y'all pay for it?
Yeah. We give them $6,000 a year, $24,000 per student in scholarship.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I should be talking more about that.
I know, man.
They should be talking more about that. I didn't know it was that deep.
Oh yeah.
It was, thing.
Yes, and then it's called mentoring across the lifetime. So we have what's called our collegiate 100, which are the students that. Well, let me start at the top. The 100 Black Men of said chapter. So in my case, the 100 Black Men of Atlanta, and then we have the emerging 100 that are professionals that are a little younger than us, between the ages of 25, 35, and then we have the collegiate 100, which are the college students. So college students, emerging 100, 100 Black Men.
So the 100 Black Men are the older gentlemen.
The older gentlemen, the executives, folks who are professionals, higher middle management or higher. And again, we get in front of the kids and show them this is what you can be. And we mentor them to help them to do whatever it is they want to do.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. So you recently had a meeting with one of the accrediting bodies.
Yes.
How did that go?
Oh, it went well. It was our national meeting, the Transnational Association of Christian Colleges and Schools, which is the accrediting agency that we're now working with. It was a national meeting out in Los Angeles, California. Went out there, just learned more about the whole process of us becoming accredited. And we're working on that accreditation application right now, getting through the whole process. The goal is October of 2020 for us to be a candidate for accreditation. Once that happens, we'll be eligible for federal financial aid, and I foresee the walls just come crashing down with students, and I don't know where I'm gonna house all those students yet, but it's gonna be a great day. It's gonna be a great problem to have.
Okay, but let's go there. That's an
Okay.
actual issue because apparently they were when it pertains to real estate as the
Yes.
campus goes.
Yes.
So apparently some of it was sold off during the process.
During bankruptcy, yes. So we lost 36 acres during bankruptcy, yeah, which is most of our campus. We have about 6, 7 acres left. Three buildings on our campus. Fountain Hall, which is a historical landmark where Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois office was, National Historic Landmark. We have Griffin High Tower, Science Building, and then we have our administration building.
Okay. So are these? So you have those three. What did you have before that? So they had a full campus with dorms and everything.
Full campus dorms, suites, I mean everything.
So is this land y'all gonna be able to get it back, or has it been sold and they're using it for something else and it's just gone?
Yeah, well, the land was sold to Invest Atlanta, and then Clark Atlanta University sued to get the land back. So some of the land, or most of the land, Clark Atlanta has now, and then some of the other parcels, the city of Atlanta has. And so people ask me all the time, are we going to fight to get it back? Yes, we're going to fight to get it back eventually. My focus today are those three things: accreditation, governance, and finance, and raising money. But eventually one day we will try to acquire as much land back as we can.
So you have your hands full with housing.
Man,
you have your hands full with housing all these kids.
listen, man, being a college president literally is like 100 jobs at one time.
I do not see how you do it. Like it's because
I
you didn't
enjoy it,
only
man.
acquire the fact that you guys were not accredited. This
Yeah.
is a whole other issue. The
Oh,
fact
yeah.
that you lost that much land
Yeah.
that housed the stuff that you're going to need
Right.
once you're reinstated.
Right. Now, so a lot of people ask me, well, what is your plan? So when we come back this year, we're focusing heavily on online learning. So we have started online education. We started it last semester. It's going very well. It is a culture change of moving to online, but we have online as well as on ground. And so online is definitely going to help us out with some of those logistic issues that we may have. But again, at the end of the day, the focus is becoming accredited, and we'll see how we handle all those other issues.
Okay.
I got some ideas in the chamber. Don't worry.
I'll trust you. I'm not. Look, after your first go round, you are one of the few people I am worried about as it
Well,
pertains
thank you.
to getting this ironed out.
Yes.
Okay. So Morris Brown was known as an education school initially, correct?
Yes. Education was one of our strongest programs.
Because I think a lot of people, when I was asking around, they were like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, they did teachers and stuff like that."
You know, I haven't seen any data on this, but I was told that if you went to school in Atlanta between kindergarten and 12th grade, that you had a teacher that went to Morris Brown.
I can validate that. That's what I've heard. Like
Yes.
everybody says that most of the teachers came from Morris
A
Brown.
lot of teachers, yes.
In the trajectory that we're in now,
Yes.
how's that going to play out?
As far as education?
Well, yeah, as education, because teachers and teacher strikes and the pay for teachers and,
Yeah.
and things of that magnitude, attracting a new class of students,
Yeah.
especially being in a media-heavy state.
Yes.
How are we going to deal with that?
Well, right now, we're not focusing on teacher education right now. We have 3 programs: business, music, and psychology. Those are our programs that we're going to focus on for right now. I would say probably for the next 3 to 5, and then we'll probably start adding on more programs as we stabilize our footing. And so we have business. Under the umbrella of business, we have global management as well as organization management. And we're in the process right now of adding hospitality management. Now, that was one of our strongest programs back in the day as well.
Oh, really?
Yes, absolutely. And so we want to focus on that program. Then under the music umbrella, we have choral, vocal, and then music production. And then also our psychology.
So the bulk of your students that are currently there, what are they majoring in?
Most of them are business and psychology. And then we have some music students as well. But again, those 3 programs, those after we vetted and did our studies, we feel like those are the programs that are going to best suit where we're headed.
Psychology is interesting because most of them are probably going to have to get a master's to really do.
if they want to become psychologists. But everyone who studies psychology doesn't want to become a psychologist. It just depends. A lot of students really learning how folks think. It's a cross discipline program. So trust me. Some of my psychology students might come in here and work with you here in this radio station.
Nice sliding. Nice sliding. You know, we keep interns around here. We'll be here at 1 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
We keep interns around here.
Hey, let me know.
Okay, so what's next in the process? Because we had the meeting. How much money do you actually need?
People ask me that question all the time, too.
Well, for the accreditation thing,
yes.
How much money? Because I'm sure you have to pay for that. Like,
yeah, yes. So, yes, you have to pay an application and all that stuff, but really what they're looking for is what's called fiscal stability. They want to make sure that you have a rainy day fund, that you're able to operate without any issues, and if something were to happen, that you would not close the next day, right? And so when people ask me that question, my answer is the goal is $10 million. All right. Monies to operate and then monies to go into an endowment as that quote unquote rainy day fund. So if anything happens, we have those reserves, not to mention being able just to show that we're financially stable with innovation and continuing to move up on the ladder. Right. So the goal is 10 million. And that's a good segue, like you like to say, into if you want to donate to Morris Brown, give anything that $5, $10, it does not matter, $100, anything that you can. Go to our website, morrisbrown.edu. Click on that give button. Also, a lot of your listeners probably love Cash App. Our Cash App is $Restore Morris Brown. $Restore Morris Brown. When I leave here, I want to see about $1 million in our account. in our account. You know, you got a lot of viewers.
Wow, okay, segue. All right, so I mean, okay, so you had that meeting. You guys are looking at the curriculum. So let's talk about your leadership.
Yes.
So as it stands now, I saw that y'all acquired an accountant.
Yes, a new CPA.
So tell me about the leadership and how you changed it and what that's looking like now.
Sure. Well, our leadership actually that's one of our stable areas.
Okay.
Dr. Gloria Anderson, she is our Vice President of Academic Affairs. Now, you're not going to believe this when I tell you.
Oh, God.
Dr. Anderson has been at Morris Brown for 52 years.
Seriously?
Yes.
So she's one of the originals? Or close
one
to
of
it?
The originals.
She's one of the originals or close to it?
We were founded in 1881. That's a good joke. You on the comedy stage? Okay, that was a good one. No, man, but she is Morris Brown, right? She's been the vice president, she's been dean, she's been interim president. She is one of the stable voices of Morris Brown
But
College.
She never wanted to be president?
She's been the interim. No, she didn't want to be president. You know, some folks being a president, the primary job is raising money and being that face. Some people like to be more in the classroom.
If you done it for the interim, well, then again, the interim is kind of like the trial. So if you do it and just like, yeah, this what it really is, I'm good. So I can't say anything. That could be.
Right. So we have several people on our leadership team. Todd Blackburn's been there for many years. Now, we did add 2 new senior leaders. We added Shermanita Carter, who's an alum of Morris Brown. She's an accountant. She's a CPA. Who's coming in as our CFO. And matter of fact, just last week we submitted our audit. 3 years, Lord. Boy.
She ripped y'all that.
Man. No. She walked on water. She led our team and we were able to get through our audit, submit all the documents that we're going to need to get through our audit. So she's phenomenal. And then we also hired another leader, Dr. Danette O'Neill. She's our new chair of the business department. You know, Dr. Sharon Willis, she's our chair of music. She's been there for a while, for some years. And then also Dr. Jamie Mitchell, she's our department chair of psychology. So we have a stable team of leaders, both tenured as well as new, who we're all leading, working as a team to move the institution forward. And I'm very happy to say that we are definitely moving forward.
Okay. All right. How does a college stay open for almost 20 years without accreditation? Wow. You knew I was going to ask that question.
Yeah,
I think that's the burning question because it's a two-way sword.
Yes.
Because on one hand, you can say, oh, my God, that's great.
Yes.
But then on the other hand, you can be like, yeah, but these students' degrees don't, you know.
When I was interviewing for my job, my mother asked me the same question. She said, how in the world is Morris Brown even open? Because here's the thing. When you lose accreditation, it's a death sentence. You close. Why? Because you lose access to federal financial aid. Students transfer out. If you don't have students, you can't be an institution.
All right, so pause there.
Okay.
Explain to those that don't know, what is accreditation exactly, for those that may not know.
Accreditation in my
higher
language,
education.
In my language, is that stamp of approval. It's a peer process where you basically are approving quality from A to Z. Academics, faculty, facilities, student services, learning outcomes, where the students are going after they graduate, what are they doing, are they able to get a job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Everything A to Z regarding one word, and that word is quality. Something that's synonymous to that is when you say quality, it's a blue ribbon for you to say, I can transfer somewhere else if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm accredited and I decide to transfer to another school, this other school says, you know what? You're accredited, we're accredited. We will accept those transfer credits into our institution because you have proven through a peer review process that you're an institution of what? Quality. Now, let me talk about Morris Brown. Even though we have not been accredited for 17, 18, 19 years, that does not mean that we're not pushing out quality education. I say this all the time as well. We aren't accredited, but all of my faculty and staff have masters and PhDs from accredited schools.
Good spin.
So they're a good spin, right?
Good spin. Good spin.
So we're still educating. And again, Morris Brown's situation, it wasn't academics, it was finances. Which, again, if you look at all the schools that are having issues, 9.9 out of 10, it's not academics. We do the best of educating us.
You come up with these nice little sayings. These nice little sayings you come up with. Look, he's a smooth talker, y'all. He's a smooth criminal, you know. Okay, so you guys currently, how many students do you have currently?
35.
Okay. What are the age groups of those?
You know what's interesting? We have between the age traditional to non-traditional. Most of our students are working adults.
Really?
They're in the organizational management program. Most of our students are. And then again, we have that traditional population, the 18 to 22-year-old.
So what do you guys do for the 18 to 22-year-olds? Since you guys don't have the campus, you probably have limited space at this point.
Well, we still have 6 acres now. We have...
Because I've never seen it, so I kept saying I was going to go out there and actually see the campus.
Yes.
You got to give me a tour one day.
Sure, no problem. Where we have the Greek picnic every year, that's what we still have.
Yeah, I saw the Greek... For
and
those
that Greek picnic is 4,000 or 5,000 people out there.
Yeah, for those who do not know, you are what?
Omega Psi Phi till the day I die. It's only one. I don't even know why you asked me that question.
Yeah, look, again, for those who do not know, you should definitely follow him on social media.
Dr. Kevin James.
I think he puts down the doctor when it gets to Greek picnics and stuff. He goes straight Omega Psi Phi all day, every day.
Hey, it's in my blood, man.
I'm entertained sometimes watching your social media. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So you found other ways to utilize the campus to help bring in finances.
Yes.
Tell us about some of those things.
Yeah, I believe something said to me one day, and I had to be God, said, look, use what you got. Right? So I said, you know what? People look for event space all the time. We got a beautiful, historic campus. If you want to have your wedding out here, come on. If you want to have your picnic out here, come on. If you want to have football tailgating out here, come on. Whatever you want to do. And we've been able to raise a nice piece of change this year with renting out our facility space.
Because y'all did what, television or a movie?
We do movies out there. A lot of people come out there. A lot of people don't know. Well, no, everyone knows. Drumline was filmed at Morris Brown.
No, not everybody. I didn't know that.
Well, a lot of people know. The movie Drumline was filmed at Morris Brown College.
I did hear that, though.
About Morris Brown's band. The Quad was filmed out there.
Really?
Yeah. Come on, man. Where you been?
Look, I told you.
You don't watch television?
You don't want me to answer that. There's certain types of television I don't watch. You don't want me to answer that.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't. Now, Drumline, I think I did know.
Okay.
The Quad, I possibly couldn't know. I knew it was HBCU. I just didn't know which one.
Yeah, it was at Morris Brown. We have, let me tell you, people call us all the time from Netflix, Marvel Studios, all over the place. Missy Elliott filmed a music video on our campus.
Recently?
Yeah, about 4 months ago. Yeah.
Let me find out you working at Marvel and you didn't tell me. I'm just telling you now. Let me find out y'all done shot Black Panther 2 there, and it's going to be me and you, because I thought we were cooler than that.
I know.
You know.
So if anyone wants to utilize our campus, go to our website, morrisbrown.edu. It's a video on there showing our campus facilities. Reach out to us, and you're more than welcome to have your event at Morris Brown.
So let's talk about you.
Sure.
So, were you prepared for what you encountered with this whole situation?
As far as me being the interim president,
Yes.
absolutely. I feel like it's interesting you asked me that question. I was telling someone last week that all of my prior experiences, good and bad, prepared me for this position.
Really?
So it comes natural. People think I'm stressed. People think, well, I am turning gray. You see it.
I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to say anything, but since you were here,
I didn't have all this
you
gray.
didn't have all that gray.
I didn't have all this gray 10
you
months
got
ago.
that Obama thing when they showed when he first got there, and after the 8 years, that's kind of what you look like.
I didn't have all
9
this
months.
gray, but yeah, I am graying. It's a heavy lift. It's the heaviest lift I've ever had, but all of my prior experiences have prepared me for it, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
So moving forward, how do you plan to, when this all comes to fruition,
Mm-hmm.
what is your plan? Like, do you plan on having 6 or 7 Pro Bowls and you want to be able to take vacations? Like, what is your personal, because we talk about leadership all the time.
Yes.
And it's more than just leading your organization. It also has to be a leadership plan for you as an individual, because you may decide that you want to start your own school or something, or some things of that magnitude. So what is that like for you? Like, when this all comes to fruition,
Sure.
what does this look like?
Well, I believe it is God's plan for me to lead Morris Brown into his future. And so I intend on staying at Morris Brown as long as they'll have me. Regarding the number of leaders we're able to hire, everything is contingent upon how many students we have and the need for how we look in the future. All I will say is I want to make sure that we have the right people leading the institution, that we have the right energy, that we have the right vision and mission and plans and goals, that correlate with my goals and plans. So we'll see what happens. But again, right now, the focus is accreditation, accreditation, accreditation. And I want to just reiterate this one more time. No other school, HBCU, in history has ever done what we're about to do.
What, come back from loss of accreditation?
20 years later, no one's ever done that before.
I didn't think it was. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think it was possible, because, like you said, it's a seal of approval.
Most people don't believe it.
And the other side of that is when you're not accredited, you don't qualify for financial funding.
Right.
So that means your students have been either getting loans or paying out of pocket.
Yes, they've been paying out of pocket mostly, and also scholarship dollars. Just recently, we had an alum to give a gift to Morris Brown College for student tuition, and those students were ecstatic about them not having to pay the tuition this semester. So, or some students next semester. And so, fundraising. Our tuition right now is very low compared to other institutions, but of course we're not accredited. We have hundreds of students that apply to Morris Brown every single year. A lot of people wouldn't think that, but then when they find out we're not accredited, they go somewhere else. So, but we still have those faithful few who are interested in being at Morris Brown, who are interested in our small classroom, who are interested in the personalized attention that you get, and just the history of who we are as an institution and the quality education that we're pushing out.
Okay. I can get there.
Yes, sir.
All right. So moving forward, because there's going to have to be a culture change that's created for the new students that are coming in and all these good things.
Yes.
What is that going to look like? Because, like I said, it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
And there will be a whole new crop of thousands of students.
Sure.
So what are they going to be walking into?
Well, one thing that I can honestly say, and I had to learn this, and it's a phenomenal thing that I learned, Morris Brown has historically and always been about family. I've never seen something like it before. Like, even alumni, they love Morris Brown. Walking in, you are a part of the family. If you are a Brownite, if you went or go to Morris Brown, automatically you are my brother, you are my sister, you are my mother, you are my daughter, son, father, whatever. And so I would love to keep that tradition of the institution being a family environment. Going into our core values of integrity, respect, just tradition is another major at Morris Brown College, who we are as an institution. That culture is going to continue on. And one other thing that I want to make sure that we keep as a tradition, in our alma mater, they have a line in there that talks about being a haven for hungry souls. Haven for hungry souls. And feeding them shall be our goal, right? And basically, Morris Brown has always been that institution where you need a second chance, you need an opportunity, Morris Brown College will give you that opportunity. And not only that, we will feed you and give you what you need to be successful. And so I want to keep that going as well, of being an institution that is open for those who may need a second chance. And so we're going to continue to push on. And again, historically, that's what black colleges have done for students, being able to be that safe haven for people who need a chance to be educated. And Morris Brown, we're going to continue to push in that facet.
Okay. That's a nice culture to keep. I will agree on that. So, talking about second chances, are there programs, because I know that you've done a lot of partnering that I've
Yes.
seen a lot recently.
Yes.
Giving the second chance ideology a more push.
Yes.
What do you think about rehabilitation for people who have felonies and things of that magnitude
Sure.
to help them get a second chance? Do you have any ideas of partnering with, I don't know, prison system type organizations to
Absolutely.
help facilitate that?
Yes, absolutely. You know, we are an institution, like I said, haven for hungry souls, people who need a chance. And so those are some of the ideas that we're looking at of helping individuals who could not go elsewhere, that Morris Brown is an opportunity for you to be educated. One example of one of those organizations that I just had a very, very good meeting with is Covenant House. Covenant House is an organization that helps homeless youth, right? And so we're having conversation right now regarding some of those homeless youth who need that chance, who want to go on to college, that we will be a pipeline to where they can come to Morris Brown College. And so we're working on that right now. That's a good segue, your favorite word, into that exact.
I did not know that. That was just me being me. I did not know that happened. So that's okay.
Yeah. So that's just one example. Back to your point there.
So tell us about some of the partnerships you made. I've seen them, but
Yes.
let everybody else know some of the partnerships that you made recently.
Yes, Academy for Creative Coaching, becoming a life coach. We're working with them where they're going to come to Morris Brown to get this certificate in 1 to 2 days to become a life coach. You'd be a good life coach.
Yep. Okay, so here's the thing.
You need to get the training to be a life coach.
Here's the thing. One of my friends is actually a master life coach. She teaches that. I honestly, I don't really get it. Like I don't really get it. Like it's
you can always be trained specifically how to deal with situations and how to coach people into certain roads.
so a counselor.
Well, you don't want to go to school for 5 years to become
I
a
do not.
counselor.
So I do not. So
So this is another alternative. I'm telling you, man, that's why a lot of colleges are moving to certifications and adult learning, because we're working already. You're working, right? You don't want to go to school for 5 or 6 years to get a credential. So you can go to get this and you can still kind of do the same thing.
I never thought about that. I mean, you think about that in like the medical field. You get a phlebotomy
Right.
certificate, you go draw blood.
Right.
But when it comes to anything else,
Right.
but I mean, do you think there's a market that will value those kinds of things? Like
Absolutely.
in business, like you give them a project management certificate.
Absolutely.
What would that really mean?
Well, it's interesting you say that. I just read an article last week that talked about Google, Netflix, bachelor's degrees for their employees, because they have found that with certifications and training that they can be just as effective. Now, I'm not saying not to go to school. I'm a college president. I can't say.
I was actually gonna I was like, wow, did you really just have to pay for that?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying college isn't for everyone, and those people who don't go, there are other alternatives for you. There are. Now, again, as a college president, my personal opinion is I feel like you need to come and get the experience of a college degree, But again, it's not for every single person. So for the people that it's not for, certifications and alternative education credentials is a means for you.
Well, that was a conversation because
Which is why Morris Brown is adding certificates.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
We're adding certificates.
Fine, since we're already there.
Okay.
What kind of certificates are we talking about?
Business, entrepreneurship. People want to learn how to run business, their own business, but they don't want to go to school for 4 to 6 years. They can come to Morris Brown College and get a certificate.
All right, so let me ask you this question since we're there.
Yes.
What would that look like? Like, what would the classes look like? What is the core? What are you going to actually teach them? That's what it boils down to.
It's a mini degree. Classes that come out of the bachelor's, but instead of going for 4 years, you can go for 6 to 12 months.
So you cutting out the general education classes?
Hey man, how do you know all of this?
You do realize that before my school closed, I was almost done with my doctorate
You need yes.
in organizational leadership.
Go ahead and get it, man. Finish it.
Look, again, my school closed. So, good shouts out to Argosy.
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, no, that's the question. Like,
I'm not sure about this, but I think that I know Clark Atlanta just started a doctoral program, and I think they accept. Anyway, that's off the air. We'll talk off the air about
oh
that.
God, look, I'm not about to
I
fight
think
you
they'll
about this
take all of
doctorate
that. So,
thing.
hey,
I'm not
Clark-
about to fight you about this doctorate thing. You sound like my mentors. Look, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that becomes the question. I agree with certifications, but the
Yes.
question becomes, what are you going to teach me? Because the problem with those certification programs are a lot of them don't qualify for financial aid, do they? Most of those are
Right.
you have to get like maybe a grant, which people still are trying to figure out how that works. Personal grants,
pay out of
or you have to
pocket.
pay out of pocket.
Or some people's jobs will pay for it. And a lot of working adults utilize that option. They may get $5,200 a year for training or something like that, and they use those monies as well.
So that's my next question. Do you guys have a continuing education program? Like Kennesaw has a continuing education building that does all these other
Not yet.
certifications and stuff like that?
Not yet.
Is that a plan?
Yes, absolutely. Again, we're going to be definitely tapping into that working adult population. Now, again, like I just mentioned, Morris Brown's largest program, organizational management, consists primarily of our working adults, right? So we've been doing it, but I want to expand it.
Okay. The HBCU experience.
Yes.
This has become a very hot topic because of cost.
Yes.
A lot of these institutions are private institutions, and they cost almost double.
Yes.
I was accepted to a college, HBCU here, and it was a significant difference from the predominantly white institution that I was at financially.
Yes.
What do you say to that? Like, what makes, because people say this to me all the time. Oh, we know it's the black experience and then blah, blah, blah. That's fine.
Yes.
But the price tag that's attached to it, is it really worth it? I'm just saying in general. I'm not saying for me, I'm
Yeah.
just saying in general. So what would you say to that?
Well, it depends on who you ask. Me personally, I'm an advocate for HBCUs, so I'm going to always push HBCUs. Now, all HBCUs aren't private. There are a lot of public HBCUs as well. Now, one thing about Morris Brown, once we're accredited in the next 12 to 18 months, I want us to be one of the privates that is super competitive financially, where you're not coming out with a lot of debt, right? Because again, like I mentioned, once we're accredited or a candidate for accreditation, we'll be eligible for financial aid. But don't get it twisted. You still got to pay those monies back.
Yeah.
You're coming out with debt. You know that right now. I'm paying mine back, and I graduated 20 years ago. So, wow, 20. Man, that's crazy. Yeah. So
I told somebody I graduated from high school in '97.
yes. So, we want to be cost effective, and we want to make sure, that we are competitive regarding what we charge. Right now, of course, we don't charge that much. We're not accredited. But once we're accredited, we will change our pricing structure. But when we change it, I still want us to be very competitive when it comes to both public and private institutions.
Okay. Let's talk about the call to action.
Yes.
The buy-in, the call to action, things of that magnitude. I have seen a lot.
Yes.
As it pertains to you guys alumni.
Yes.
How did that play out? Like, was it a hard, well, I'm sure it wasn't a sell, but was it a when you made the call to action to start sending in monies and things of that magnitude, how did that go?
Yeah, it's going fine, but I knew it was going to be the toughest part of the job. When you are doing something, I'll use the boy who cried wolf syndrome. You're telling me you're going to do something and you don't do it. You're telling me you're going to do something and you don't do it, then I'm not listening anymore. And so that happens once or twice, but we're talking 17, 18, 19 years.
Well, in that time span, were they doing that? Like the leadership saying, hey, we're going to do this, send in money, or it's just a syndrome?
Well, we have always been moving forward to become accredited. That's always been the goal since 2002. And it's 2019. That's right. That's always been the goal, to become accredited again. It's never been a goal of just kind of being stagnant, not being accredited. It's never been the goal. So we've always been pushing, but it was a heavy lift. It still is a heavy lift, right? Which is the reason why when I came in, I said we have to do something different, and we're going to switch accrediting agencies. In my first interview, I said, if you hire me, we're changing accrediting agencies. And it was board approved in unanimous vote that we were going to
Why was that important for you?
Because I believe the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting the same results.
But you think it has something to do with the accrediting body?
Yes.
How so?
Well, in my opinion, tracks right now for Morris Brown College is a better option for Morris Brown.
Okay.
They have some different philosophies regarding what fiscal stability looks like. That's my opinion. Okay? So tracks is an absolute best option for Morris Brown at this time. And it's our best chance of being accredited by a United States Department agency and be eligible for federal financial aid. Not to mention, which was a blessing for me, I didn't make this up. There's other schools that have been tested with it. Paul Quinn College was with one agency, now they're with Trax, and now they are a very successful HBCU. Payne was with an agency, now they're no longer with that agency, now they're going to Trax. They're doing better. Bennett College lost its accreditation with Saks.
You're doing it.
Now they're going through Trax. Clinton College, very, very good school in HBCU in South Carolina. They're with Trax. And now Morris Brown. You know, so it's I didn't make it up. I just looked at what's going on in higher education. I said, this is the best alternative for Morris Brown. Let me do some more research on it, present it to the board. Here's the why. And we voted to move forward with Trax.
Did time frame have something to do with it as well?
Absolutely. We don't, listen, man, we are holding on by a string. This is
That's a very long string. That's a very long. No, we're beyond strings at this point. Y'all have a thread that is like really, really thick.
Right.
17 people. I need y'all to understand. We're talking about 17 years of no accreditation, and you still manage to survive and do a little more than survive. Because survive would be like y'all have like one building and two students. Right. So you need a little more than survive.
Which is why I can say with all of my heart that God is involved.
Absolutely. I have to concur.
That God is involved.
Absolutely.
It's never been done. Listen, you ever seen the movie Remember the Titans? They're going to make a movie on this one day. Hey, get Denzel to... No, I'm joking.
Well, Tyler Perry Studio is here. And,
hey.
You know, that's one of my goals to have my own studio. So,
right.
You know, I can think. Honestly, I did not think it was possible to be without accreditation for 7 years and to... 17 years and to still be here operating. I didn't think it was legal either. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think it was legal.
You know, either. Speaking of legal, it's interesting you say that because when I went into the position, all I was worried about was accreditation. Shortly after I started the job and we started getting some momentum, I got a phone call from the state of Georgia.
Oh.
Yeah, saying, wait a minute, y'all on the news talking about accreditation, you all have to come see us first.
Wait, that's not, I don't think you guys, that's not the Board of Regents or anything, is it?
The state of Georgia, the Georgia Non-Public Post-Secondary Commission on Education.
Oh, okay.
And so we had to simultaneously work on the state of Georgia application while we're still working on the Trax application. And I'm so happy to announce that at homecoming, the state of Georgia approved Morris Brown College as a higher education institution.
So wait,
it took us 7 months to do the application.
Well, previous to that, how did that work? Like,
we weren't approved. Wow. And so now we're approved.
Okay. I didn't know that was a thing. But okay.
Yes.
Y'all have had a lot of grace.
And that was a big deal for us because the same thing the accrediting agency is going to do is what the state of Georgia did. They sent in a team. They went through our academics. They went through our programs. They went through our finances. They went through everything A to Z to give a signature of approval that we're an institution of quality. And so our psychology program has been approved. Our business program has been approved. We just had a site visit this past Friday where they came out to look at our music program. And so that's going to be approved hopefully this week.
That's interesting though. So why, I guess I'm trying to figure out why would you need the state's approval?
Because it's different from accrediting. It's different from national or regional accreditation. This is just the local state. And then you have the national or regional accreditation that's under the umbrella of the United States Department of Education.
Does that affect any monies, having the state approve?
No. But we did have to show fiscal regarding monies regarding getting federal financial aid. No.
Yeah, stuff like that.
No. That's through the United States Department of Education.
That's what I thought. So I'm like, I didn't.
Right.
Okay. Now I'm curious. I'm going to look that up because that's interesting to me.
Yep.
Okay. So check there.
Yeah.
We got money going. Check there.
There we go. Well, we need more. Which segues into our next point. Go to our website, morrisbrown.edu. Click on that give button. Anything that you can. Now, I always say this. Barack Obama did not get elected president from $1,000 gift, $5,000 gift.
You are absolutely right.
He was elected with $10 gifts, $20 gifts, $100 gifts. So please consider giving to Morris Brown. Give anything that you can. Go to our website, morrisbrown.edu. Cash App, $ restore Morris Brown.
You sound like a politician.
You know what? People ask me on a daily basis, am I a politician or a preacher? And I'm neither.
Okay, you might not be a politician, but the preacher thing, I can see that.
I'm neither.
I can see that.
I'm neither. I am a teacher, not a preacher, but it's a thin line between the two.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thin line between the two, and I understand that.
You're so full of it. So full of it.
I'm a higher education.
So
Listen, I am a higher education administrator / professor. That's who I am.
Whatever. Whatever. Okay. You made me lose my train of thought. I was going somewhere. You made me lose my train of thought. Where was I going? Crap. I can't remember where I was going. Okay. So, Morris Brown College. We're using what we have to get where we need to be.
Yes.
How long for the accreditation process? Because I want to go back to there.
Yes.
So you said by next year, sometime in 2020, y'all want to start the not the initial process, but the next phase of the process.
Well, so we submitted the application. We're working on the self-study. The goal, and this is a goal, is to be a candidate for accreditation by October 2020. That's the goal. And it is an attainable goal. I just need everyone to pour into Morris Brown College financially.
Well, that was my question. So is that the underlying issue is the fiscal stability?
I'll go on record and say if we can raise the money, we have a very good chance of being the first school in history to ever do this.
I feel like there's something in it for you. I mean, of course.
Of course it is.
There's something. Somebody asked me that the other day when they saw the previous video. I was like, yeah, but there's something about being able to say that I took a school, and I mean, I know you have help, but I took a school from being unaccredited for 17 years and got it back accredited in less than 2. Or at least got us on the path, a definitive path in less than 2 years.
You're 100% right. There is something in it for me. I will achieve God's plan. This is true. I feel like God sent me to do it, man. I'm telling you, like what we're doing is such a heavy lift that I don't know. Somebody else will be, right?
Especially when their primary duty is fundraising. That's pretty much your primary duty at this point.
Right.
I mean, doing everything else you do, but the money is what really boils down to.
And see, the thing about fundraising is Morris Brown's history sells itself. So fundraising isn't difficult from that angle. The angle where it's difficult is, wait a minute, you've been telling me this for 17, 18, 19 years. I'm not giving you anything. So overcoming that, getting people to trust us again is the major obstacle.
Yeah, but is that the only conversation? Is that conversation the one you have mostly with alumni or just in general?
Everybody. Alumni, friends, shareholders. Right now, if I go to Oprah Winfrey and say, Oprah, I want you to give me $20 million, she's going to Google us and see who we... Wait a minute, are y'all open?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, y'all have been unaccredited for 20 years. You know, being able to overcome that and showing how we're moving forward. See, that's why it was only one thing I was looking for when I came into this position. One word: momentum. John Maxwell, momentum is a leader's best friend. And I quote. So he said, if you can gain momentum, you can get it done. And so that's why gaining momentum and then being able to show a donor, look, we got approved by the state of Georgia. First time in a very long time. Look at who our faculty are. Look at their expertise. Look at their PhDs. Look at their, their experience and their knowledge. My vice president of academic affairs, she has like 5 or 7 patents. 5, 6, 7 patents. Yes, she's brilliant. Patents. She's a chemist.
Really?
Yes. The point is showing the why. Because when you tell people something versus show them something, it's two different things. Majorly.
All right, so let's staying there.
Yes.
Because I want to get into the power of social media, because I think people still don't understand the
Yes.
power of social media.
Yes.
So the fact that, and I tell people all the time, if you have a business or you're starting something, take everybody on the journey with you, with your social media. And people look
I
at me
do a
like I'm
daily
crazy.
journal. You can watch from March 1 to right now, this very moment, and see 3 to 5 posts a day. And it's like you could write a book looking at my social media.
I believe that. I absolutely believe that.
On March 1st, blah, 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 write a 3-page paper on that. March 4th, write a 4-page paper.
Watch out, kids. That's like your assignment in one of his classes is to do that. Has that made it easier?
Yes.
Has it helped significantly?
Yes, because it's not talking, it's showing. So I can, when I leave here, I'll post on my social media, hey, just let this phenomenal radio show and working to raise money for the school. That's not a guess. You can see it. It's proof. I can touch it. I can click on it. Wow, look at, and it's being transparent, number one, and then number two is showing and gaining momentum, letting people see the journey.
See, people, I keep trying to tell folks the power of social media.
It's king. And it's instant. And you have it in your hand all day, every day.
I keep trying to explain to people this fighting thing. I'm like, and it's free. All it takes is time.
Yes.
And you're probably like me. It's probably a routine. Mine is a routine. Like, I just automatically know what to do, when to do it, and what time's the day to do it.
Right.
Which they give you analytics.
And
all
I
that
do
stuff.
I do my own social media. Most big schools like a Georgia State or Georgia Tech or something, they probably have a whole 20-man team that just does just that.
Yeah, probably for each school of business, school
Right.
of education,
Exactly.
things of that magnitude.
Right.
All right, so we're at the end of the year.
Yes.
Anything left on your checklist
Yes.
for this year?
For this year, yes. I need to raise $200,000 before December 31st. So segueing into that, please go to morrisbrown.edu, click on that give button, give anything that you can, Cash App, $ Restore Morris Brown.
You know I like you to let you do this, right? You know I like you to support your cause to let you do this, right?
Well, I appreciate you.
All right, so moving into the beginning of the year, spring 2020.
Yes.
What is on the agenda?
We're working on getting through the self-study of the accreditation application. That literally is us writing a book on ourselves regarding who we say we are. It's a self-evaluation of who we say we are as an institution under all the required requirements that TRACS has. So, for example, faculty, that section we write I'm making this up, a 20-page paper on who our faculty are, what they teach, what they're credentialed to teach, everything regarding them. Let's say facilities, okay? We write a 20-page paper on who we are regarding what we have remaining, our facilities, where students taught, what kind of resources do they have, where do they go to the use library, resources, everything. So it's doing a self-study on ourselves regarding all the criterion required.
They haven't done that yet? Oh, something like that?
We're working on it now.
Huh.
It's a long process, very, very long.
Well, that was going to be my question. Like, if you get the objective in October, how long does the process itself take? Like, the accreditation process itself. How long does that take?
So, okay. So we submit the application, then we do the self-study. After the self-study, what happens is a peer review team, like a jury of your peers, will come to Morris Brown, and they will then evaluate everything that we said we are. They will make recommendations. They will make changes, and it's kind of like your professor's going to find something wrong with your paper. That's what they're supposed to do. That's how you ensure quality and increase quality. You right? So after we get through a jury of our peers, which most times are college presidents from other accredited schools, many times, or VPs,
Oh, really?
VPs, presidents. After we get through that, then TRACS will send a team to Morris Brown, who would then vet what the peer review team said that we said we are. And then the goal will be this national meeting I just left in Los Angeles. The next one will be in Orlando next year, I think. We'll go before the commission in Orlando of next year and petition to be accredited. A candidate for accreditation.
That was going to be my question.
Yes.
So you attended like a national HBCU conference type thing.
Yes.
What was on the agenda? What was discussed? Like, what is going on with HBCUs?
So I've been to several. I went to one in D.C. where different college presidents came together and we had a agenda of different topics. One was on opportunity zones. One was on governance. One was on financial aid, what's going on in the government, etc. That was one I went to. We had one that was hosted by the 100 Black Men of America, the National Sustainability of HBCUs. The focus in that conference was the HBCU presidents coming together, talking more about keeping our schools open and how we're going to be fiscally stable moving forward with all of the changes.
So is that the biggest issue, is money?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We do the best of educating us, like I mentioned. It's always the finances. Not to mention, we don't have large endowments like our our other schools. You know, if you look at the endowment of, let's say, a juggernaut, Morehouse endowment and Georgia Tech's endowment, do I need to go any further?
Well, actually, me and your sisters went to Coastal, didn't they?
Yeah, Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, we all went to Coastal. I went to Coastal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's use South Carolina. So University of South Carolina
Game
versus, let's say, a Benedict College, as an example.
So in essence, we're talking about PWIs versus HBCUs.
There you go. So, well, why is that? Well, one of the reasons, this is not the primary reason. Well, no, it is. It's a major reason. The statistics on us giving back to our HBCUs, 13% give back to their black college. Only 13%.
All right, now when you say us, are you talking about black people in general,
People
or are
who
we talking about
attended
alumni?
alumni who went to HBCUs.
Are not as prone.
Only 13% give back financially.
Out of 100%?
Yes. I saw that statistic recently in an article. Only 13%. So, of course, we're going to have financial problems. That is why the push has been so much on alumni giving. Who is the best person to speak of the quality of education and what you got from that college than the alumni who went to that college? I say this all the time. If we don't support us, why should anyone else?
Well, but then the question becomes, what is the root cause of that?
It's a lot of theories on it. A lot of theories.
Give me two.
One theory might be they weren't satisfied with something at that college. Standing in financial aid line too long, or maybe the way they were handled in a class or something. I don't know. It's a lot of different reasons. And just another one is, and this one probably in my opinion is the biggest one, is the importance of the why hasn't been inbred into us. That's why now a lot of HBCUs, and I want to make sure we do this at Morris Brown, we start with our freshmen to teach them the value of why it's important to give back while you're even in school. If you're a freshman in school, you need to give $50 to your school, $20, whatever you can, right? So then when you graduate, it's kind of like a test, a prep. Your prep now is just kind of a part of who you are. My mom, like when you were a kid in church and your mom would give you $1 and say, go put that in the plate. Mm. What was she doing? She was training you of how, when you're grown, you need to give back to your church. And that's what I liken it to. The same way you give to your church is the same way you need to give to your black college. And it doesn't even need to be that much. The church asked for 10%. Right? Mm. If you gave $20 a month to your black college, if every Morris Brown alum gave $20 a month to Morris Brown, we wouldn't have any financial problems.
But do you think the issue is a problem with buy-in?
Yes.
How is, if the selling point for HBCU is the experience, so how does that become an issue when I graduate?
Well, the experience is important, but in my viewpoint, it should be focused on we do the best of educating us. Not just a partying, not just a stepping, not just a fraternity life.
Now, if we're honest, aren't those major points, though?
Those are major points. Listen, I have the privilege of attending both a black school and a white school. Undergrad, I attended South Carolina State for 4 years, changed my major, transferred to Winthrop University, stayed a year and a half, graduated. I have personal hands-on experience of the differences between a HBCU and a PWI. One of the major ones was at South Carolina State. The teachers knew my name.
You get out of PWI. My teachers know mine. We still stay in contact. I went to Coastal. Me and Dr. Tankersley, we talk all the time. Next.
Okay, you had to just listen. That's not the normal.
Your sisters don't remember any of their teachers'
I
names?
probably no. I'd put money on it that they don't. Absolutely not.
Well, I have a different personality, so
Exactly.
I have a different personality. So
I put money on it that they don't. And not to mention just the whole culture. You know, it's a lot of research on being able to shine when you feel comfortable in an environment where not everyone, but most look like you and accept you for who you are and value who you are and where you're going. That's why a lot of times it's a culture shift, even for black people who go to HBCUs that had never seen that before, right? I have a friend she's from California, and she was culture shocked when she went to her black college, Tuskegee University. Culture shock. She just could not believe that it was so many professors who had PhDs that looked like her. The stepping, the fraternities, the hand holding regarding the academic piece. You know, she was just wild, and now she just loves HBCUs, right? So it's a lot to it. All of those things are important. All of those things are important, but at the end of the day, why do you go to college? You go to college to be educated so you can go out into the world and make a difference. So that needs to be the focal point of all colleges and universities, black and white.
So getting back to this alumni issue and the giving with alumni.
We have to do a better job of training the why.
Well, I'm thinking about my experience, and, you know, there's certain things that we get from being alumni, and I'll say from Coastal because that's where I graduated from. And you get the little booklet with all the stuff in it, and you're like, they start highlighting folks. You're just like, well, dang, I want to be highlighted. And it's an incentive like, well, if I give some money, I can be highlighted.
Yes.
Do they do that kind of stuff?
At Morris Brown or at black colleges?
Black colleges.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, at our school, we highlight people who give significant gifts on our wall, plaques. We have a brick sidewalk outside where folks can have their names highlighted. Most colleges do something like that. But I'm not even talking about just the big gifts. See, those folks who are documented that way, they gave 50,000, 100,000
on a building.
Right. Exactly. Well, on a building, you're looking at millions.
Yeah.
Right.
Coastal has money. Yeah.
I'm not talking about that. Even though that's important, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the 20s. Doing something. $20 a month, $50 a year, $100 a year, $500 a year, whatever. A lot of people aren't giving one penny back to their college. And we have to change that.
I'm trying to get that connotation. Like, the experience should automatically empower you to want to do that once you graduate.
It should, but it doesn't. It's people who bleed their school colors, but they haven't given a penny.
Because we be here all day trying to get down to that dichotomy. I can't get there. Like, how do you figure it's just running magically if I'm not contributing financially?
That's a good question.
Okay. All right. So that's spring. By fall. So y'all have an intake process where people apply and and all that stuff.
Anyone interested in applying to Morris Brown College, go to our website, morrisbrown.edu. We have a very quick process. Click on that apply now button. Good to go. And an enrollment counselor will reach out to you expeditiously.
Tell them how to get in touch with you.
To get in contact with me, you can call us at Morris Brown at 404-458-6085. My email address is kevin.james@morrisbrown.edu. Follow me on all social media platforms at Dr. Kevin James.
Okay, so final thoughts.
Yes.
To that individual who is considering a HBCU, what would be your advice? What would you say to them? Or that parent who is looking at the price tag,
sure, and
going, well, why do you want to go here, or something of that magnitude? What would you say to them?
My advice to a parent regarding college selection would be make sure that institution is a good fit for whatever desires and dreams that your child has. HBCUs provide every field of endeavor that there is. If that is where you want to be, I would highly suggest it. But look at all colleges. I am an advocate for HBCUs, so of course I'm going to push HBCUs, and just make sure that whatever it is that you want to study and whatever it is that you want to do, that college is a good fit for you.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
Restore Morris Brown, the hard reset. Go to our website, morrisbrown.edu. Click on that give button. Cash App, $ Restore Morris Brown.
Has that hashtag been working?
Let me tell you something. Absolutely. People coming up to me in the streets. Hey, the hard reset. Okay, did you go to Morris Brown? No, I didn't go to Morris Brown. I just heard about it. Absolutely. Social media is king.
I keep trying to
Social media is king.
I keep trying to tell you that. All right, well, I think I've gotten all I need to get out of you today. I think we have.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, no problem. I went through my list, and I'm learning that towards the end of the year, there are some stories that need follow-up. And
Yes.
I had been following you.
Yes.
And I was like, he needs to come back.
Yes.
Because
You know, there is one last thing. I have been asking the community and alumni and everybody for gifts, but additionally, I need connections. If you have a connection with a celebrity that may be a good match for Morris Brown. You know, my uncle is Jay-Z. I'm making that up. My auntie is Oprah Winfrey. Help me get a meeting with
Okay,
them.
now if you heard it here. So if your aunt is Oprah, I love Dr. James, but you heard it here. So we looking for sponsors and advertisers.
Yeah.
So
You understand what I'm saying?
Share that.
You understand? But the point is, I'm also looking for major funders as well.
But you had somebody that was at your campus that was a celebrity. Not Mike Jones. Somebody was there.
Killer Mike?
Yeah.
Yes, Killer Mike. He's on my advisory board, my president advisory board.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like I should be on one of them boards. I'm almost a doctor. I should be.
We'll talk about it.
That there.
We'll talk about it.
I'm trying to give me that line. Talk about it. All right, everybody. So there you have it, Dr. Kevin James, the interim president of Morris Brown College. As he's given 50,000 times on the show, you should know by now where to donate at, where to go. As another African American male, I am proud of the progress you made. It is absolutely
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you, sir.
What you've been able to do in less than a year, and I look forward to next year.
Yes, sir.
And you're a friend to the show, so whatever you need, if I can help, I'm here.
Absolutely.
I'm not giving any money right now, but if anything I can do to help,
Yes.
definitely want to be here. All right, everybody, we will see you next time on the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.
You're listening to the Leadership Blend podcast
I'm ready.
on the Thinking Out Loud Network. Check out the Thinking Out Loud Network at thinkingoutloudnetwork.com.